Hello, dear listeners. It's Moonbeam, and I'm so glad you're here with me for another episode of Let's Read. There's something really special about sharing these stories together, and I hope you're finding a moment of peace in your day to join me. If these readings have been brightening your day, I'd be grateful if you could subscribe and leave a like. Your support truly makes this possible, and knowing you're here alongside me on this journey means everything. So, are you comfortable? We're continuing from that intense moment where Zhu Yao suddenly found herself in the judge's seat, quite the position for anyone, let alone someone so young. Today we're exploring Chapter 18, The Three Collapsed Views. This one's going to take us somewhere profound, and I have a feeling it's going to stay with us long after we finish. So, last time, our Grand Martial Aunt, Zhu Yao, was staring at a bleeding boy, a defiant Xiaoyi, and a very tricky situation when Sect Master Zhu suddenly put her on the spot, bowing respectfully and asking for her wise opinion on how to handle the whole mess. Chapter 18 opens with all 6 pairs of eyes in the main hall fixed on Zhu Yao, especially little Wang, who's giving her a look of utter disbelief, pulling his hand from her grasp. Liar is practically written all over his teary eyes. Hey, Zhu Yao thinks. This little wimp is ungrateful. I told him I was from Jade Forest Mountain. He's the one who didn't get it. Greetings to Senior Martial Aunt. Greetings to Grand Martial Aunt. Even Zi Yuan, Weapon Mountain Lord, and Zhao Yuan Shu, Little Fatty's father, though clearly unwilling, have to maintain face and greet her by her higher seniority. Zhu Yao awkwardly smiles and waves them to rise. She tries to grab little Wang's hand, but he nimbly dodges, pouting angrily and glaring at her, as if to say, "You tricked me." This little wimp, why is he throwing another tantrum? Zhu, ever the smooth operator, steps in. Yan Chen, Suju, the two of you leave for now. He sends little Wang, who's still glaring daggers at Zhu Yao, away with Du Yan Chen. Then Zhu gets closer to Zhu Yao, smiling affably, but turns his back to the other two in the hall and gives her a meaningful look. Little Martial Aunt, by coincidence, you were on site earlier. Hence, your opinion over this matter will be most highly valued. I wonder how Little Martial Aunt thinks we should deal with this matter. Zhu Yao inwardly trembles. Like hell I know. Is it really okay to pass the buck like this to me? Ho. My master is calling me for lunch, she tries to say, planning her escape, but then the door behind her closes with a creak. Zhu Yao glares at Zhu. You sly old fox, this is clearly a matter that will offend one side or another, and you're dumping it all on me. Zhu just gives her an even friendlier smile, eager to hear his martial aunt's teachings. Zhu Yao sighs. She has no choice. She squats in front of Xiaoyi, the little kid whose body is still profusely bleeding and can't help but frown. You people, release him for now. He's still a child after all. Zhao Yuan Shu, though clearly unhappy, waves his hand, dispelling the restraining art on Xiaoyi. Xiaoyi slowly takes a breath, but remains seated, on high alert. Zhu Yao already has some understanding of the conflict between Xiaoyi and Little Fatty from the identity tablet incident. What started as a childish quarrel almost cost a life. Is cultivation the cause of all this? She thinks. With great power comes great responsibility. But in this world, it seems the more power you have, the bigger your temper, and everyone acts however they see fit. Xiaoyi, why do you want to kill little Fatty Zhao? Yes, she frames it as kill because if the sect master hadn't appeared, little Fatty Zhao might truly have died. With a cold expression, Xiaoyi still insists he deserves to be killed. Why? Zhu Yao presses. Gritting his teeth, Xiaoyi seems to recall something he truly hates. Ever since he was admitted into the sect, he had always been bullying Ling Long. And because Ling Long never fussed about it, his actions became more severe. Recently, he pushed Ling Long into a cold pool, causing her to be severely ill, and her life is now at stake. Yet, even after all that, little Fatty Zhao took away the medicine needed to save her. I told the senior martial brother in charge, but, he snorts coldly, looking at the nearby Zhao Yuanshu, because little Fatty Zhao was the son of the first disciple of Weapon Refining Mountain, they always ignored these incidents, treating them as if they never happened. Zhu Yao realizes Ling Long must be the little girl she saw with him before. And because of this, you want to kill little Fatty Zhao? Xiao Yi nods, a faint killing intention in his eyes. Then have you ever thought of this? Zhu Yao asks. Even if you kill little Fatty Zhao, you won't be able to save Ling Long, and because of that, you will be carrying the death of someone on your shoulders. Xiao Yi is silent for a moment, then says, even if that's the case, I will still avenge her. So, you think that killing little Fatty Zhao is correct? He continues to nod. Zhu Yao feels a little powerless. She can't figure out why a 10-year-old teenager would have such an extreme mindset. He treats slaughter as a matter of fact, believing that dying to kill someone else is also a way to solve problems. This little kid's three views, his worldview, view towards life, and values are clearly messed up. Have you ever thought of the consequences if you kill someone? The people I kill are people who deserve to die. Xiao Yi's voice instantly rises. Zhu Yao frowns deeper. Who deserves to die and who doesn't? How do you determine them? People that treat you well don't deserve to die, while people that treat you badly do? Little fellow, you're not the only person in this world, and the world does not revolve around you. No one has the right to determine the life and death of someone else. You told me little Fatty Zhao bullied you and caused Ling Long to fall severely ill. These are indeed his wrongdoings. However, by killing him, you're using an even bigger wrongdoing to repay him. Do you think that's the correct way of doing things? Xiao Yi says nothing. He just grits his teeth and stubbornly lowers his head. Zhu Yao knows it's impossible to get through to him in such a short time. Remember seeing him as a beggar? He probably grew up without parents, forming these self-centered views. The mindset that he's always in the right is deeply ingrained. It's not something that can be changed quickly. It's a fact that Xiao Yi heavily injured little Fatty Zhao, and he should take responsibility for his own actions. Zhu Yao stands up and looks at Zimao. Zhao Yuanshu, standing nearby, looks delighted. Grand Martial Aunt, your investigation was conducted splendidly. But, Zhu Yao continues, but the cause of this incident was due to little Fatty Zhao's acts of bullying, so he should take responsibility for his actions as well. Zhao Yuanshu's expression instantly sours, but Zhu Yao doesn't give him a chance to speak. And you? Zhu Yao looks at Yuanshu. As little Fatty Zhao's father, you did not guide him correctly and simply allowed him to bully his own brothers and sisters of the same sect, thus causing this calamity to happen. As the saying goes, failure to educate one's child is the fault of the father. If you had found out about his conflict with his brothers and sisters earlier and dissuaded him, this incident would not have happened. So you're also to blame for your failure to educate your child. She points out that if Xiao Yi's extreme views were from his environment, then little Fatty Zhao's atrocity was caused by his father. Zhao Yuanshu's face darkens, his lips move, but he doesn't directly refute her. He clasps his hands and says, this disciple thanks Grand Martial Aunt for her teachings, but he still glares ruthlessly at Xiao Yi from the corner of his eyes. All right, I'm not exactly clear of the sect rules, so Sect Master Zimao, take charge of their punishments. Zhu Yao stretches, signaling Zimao, who has been quietly standing to deal with the matter. Zamao instantly smiles like an old daisy and, in a respectful tone, starts buttering her up. As expected, little martial aunt is wise. With such an analysis, the incident was instantly cleared up. Zhu Yao rolls her eyes at him. Bastard, you wanted me to say that all along, didn't you? You think I really understand the thoughts of a sly old fox like you? Unfortunately for her, after the Medicine Mountain, she had now offended Weapon Refining Mountain as well. She totally had it easy, she thinks with sarcasm. Simo clearing his throat, drawing everyone's attention, and finally delivering his verdict with a serious expression. Xiao Yi, you heavily injured one of your brothers of the same sect. I will now punish you by crippling your cultivation, and you will be expelled from the inner sect. You shall have to begin your training from scratch, and I hope this time you will cultivate properly and diligently. With the wave of his hand, a ray of light hits Xiao Yi, and he collapses. His cultivation has been crippled. Next, Simo addresses Cao Yuanshu. Yuanshu, the way you educated your son was improper. You will now have to take good care of Linglong, the girl who was pushed into the cold pool by little fatty Cao. That will be your punishment. If anything were to happen to her again, you will be held responsible. Cao Yuanshu bows in obedience. As for little fatty Cao, Simo continues, he has caused harm to others as well. I shall issue my verdict once he recovers from his injuries. Simo strokes his beard, calls 2 disciples, and dismisses everyone. Bring Xiao Yi to the outer sect. The 2 disciples obey, carrying the collapsed Xiao Yi towards the entrance. As they pass Zhu Yao, Xiao Yi suddenly lifts his head and gives her a cold glance. Zhu Yao's heart freezes. This little wimp can't be hating on her, right? The hell, you best be clear about this. Earlier, I was the one who gave face to this old man Simo and saved you. With a heavy heart, she returns to Jade Forest Mountain, feeling deeply saddened. She's only been in the sect for about a month, and she's already offended 2 major mountain lords, Medicine Mountain, formerly Pellet Mountain, and Weapon Refining Mountain. Her life is simply too wonderful, and she's afraid of being beaten up by people if she heads out in the future. So she decides to become a serious NEET, not in education, employment, or training, after this, and not leave her mountain too often. Speaking of which, she and Xiao Yi are oddly fated. She encounters him every time she leaves the mountain, and the strange feeling she has towards him grows deeper with each encounter. It's neither hate nor love, just an indescribable feeling. And with his warped 3 views, she can't bring herself to like him. Especially that look he gave her right before he left, it makes her hair stand on end. She hardly can believe such eyes could belong to a 10-year-old boy. You are back? A cold voice pulls Zhu Yao back from her thoughts. Yu Yan is standing by the stone table in the courtyard, holding a plate of delicious-smelling vegetables. He looks at her, and the image of a wedded husband instantly flashes in Zhu Yao's mind. Darling. Wait, no, master. Zhu Yao corrects herself, her low spirits swept away by her love for food. She eagerly runs over. So master really was waiting for her to eat lunch. Yu Yan doesn't reply. He just looks at his idiot disciple who has already started eating, sighs silently, and sits across from her. Like a fierce wind, Zhu Yao quickly devours the plates, even burping when she's done. Looking at her master, who has already begun clearing the dishes, she feels that being taken in by such a capable master is definitely her biggest blessing ever since she started cultivating. P.S. If not for his usual crazy antics. But her cultivation. Master, a sudden sense of guilt rises in her heart. Yu Yan stops his movements and looks at her. Zhu Yao doesn't know what to say. Feeling uncomfortable, she tugs at her clothes. I am saying it might be possible. It might be that I'm really unsuitable for cultivating into a deity. She found out on her recent trip that even the least talented kids can sense spiritual energy, while she's still clueless. It would be a lie to say it didn't affect her. In the beginning, she was forced into admitting him as her master, but humans develop feelings. After living with him for so many days, how could she not be moved by Yu Yan's sincere care? She might not treat him as an elder, but he certainly qualifies as a friend, a brother, as a good girlfriend? She understands how eager he is to have a disciple. She's overheard disciples' private discussions. Her master could have ascended ages ago, but he's been suppressing his cultivation, unwilling to ascend because he hasn't found a satisfactory disciple. But her, why don't you find another disciple? She feels guilty for holding him back. Yuyan is slightly startled, his eyebrows tightly knitted. He's stunned for a moment. Suddenly, he reaches out to touch her forehead, his expression even odder. She's not having a fever. Master, I'm serious. Zhu Yao pushes his hand away. She's being vulnerable for once. Can't he just be serious about it? Yuyan sighs, giving her a classic, "Why is my disciple so stupid?" look. Then, with a serious expression, he instructs her, "In the future, do not head down the mountain as often to prevent yourself from learning bad things." He truly believes she became stupider after just a few hours outside. He hardens his resolve to teach her in a closed environment, preventing her from being influenced by others. Zhu Yao, I was actually being serious though. Yuyan sighs and casts a confiscation spell. From now on, until you build your foundation, you are not allowed to head down the mountain. Yuyan sternly orders. Master, she's being confined like that? Yuyan's expression turns even colder, no room for discussion. You admitted into the sect later than most. Unlike a child, your mind is unable to focus on a single objective and put everything and think deeply into that one objective. Hence, it's normal for you to have a late start compared to others. You do not have to pay it too much mind. In this period of time, you only have to stay away from distractions and concentrate on cultivating. You will be able to comprehend in due time. Cultivation is something that goes against the laws of nature in the first place. It's not a matter you can be overly anxious about. But what if I will never be able to comprehend it? Then you will continue to cultivate. You do not have to worry. Even if you're incapable of everything, Master will still protect you. Shoot, so he had never thought of giving up on me. Gamut, what's with this feeling of wanting to cry? Master, you always divert away from common sense. Why do you have to say such emotional statements now? Bastard! Zhu Yao fiercely rubs her eyes until they're red. Master, earlier, when I headed down the mountain, I seem to have caused some trouble. Zhu Yao decides to be completely honest. Her master is powerful, and if someone were to try to beat her up, at least he'd know who to look for. Humph, the old man Simo dared to make use of me? Then I definitely dared to inform on him behind his back. Although I was simply following the sect master's intention to forgive the child. But Reverend Zhu Yuan will definitely have a grudge towards me due to this incident. So, Yuyan frowns, deep in thought. Just as Zhu Yao expects her powerful master to slap his chest and promise to have her back, Yuyan raises his head, looks at her firmly, and asks, "Who is the Zhu Yuan?" Unable to control herself for a moment, Zhu Yao falls off her chair. Zhu Yao, realizing her master not only lacks common sense, but he's also utterly oblivious to who's who in the sect. Who wouldn't remember a mountain lord's name after 10,000 years? She figures with a personality like that, he must have offended everyone possible, making her feel completely at ease about her own recent offenses. Compared to him, I'm practically kind-hearted and pure. But Yu Yan is a man of his words. When he said she couldn't leave the mountain, he meant it. In a blink, the teleportation formation on Jade Forest Mountain was gone. Without it, and unable to fly a sword, Zhu Yao was effectively imprisoned. Yu Yan began to stare at her while she cultivated every single hour of the day. But even with his intense supervision, Zhu Yao still couldn't sense a hint of the spiritual energy he spoke of. It was like she was naturally a spiritual energy insulator. Her master had told her she started later than most, and unlike a child, her mind couldn't focus on a single objective without distractions. Basically, she has grown old and she thinks too much. When Zhu Yao realized this truth, tears welled up. It's not her fault for being old. At least she's not in her 30s yet. And compared to the hundreds and thousands of years people live in this cultivation world, she's practically an infant. After being confined for 3 months, she felt deeply saddened by her utter lack of progress. Suddenly, a dong 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 knocking sound comes from her window.
Zhu Yao is puzzled. Who could it be? On Jade Forest Mountain, it's just her and her master, and master never knocks. She opens the window, and it's not a human, but a delicate paper crane. It flaps its tiny wings, stopping before her. The knocking sound was from its pecking. This is the first time Zhu Yao has seen such a mystic art, and she curiously reaches out. The paper crane obediently lands on her palm and instantly turns into a written strip of paper. This mystic art is clearly for sending letters. Zhu Yao picks it up. The words are childish, crooked, and unevenly sized, clearly written by a child. It reads, "Ugly wife, you liar. Senior Marshal brother told me to call you Grand Marshal Aunt, but I will never admit it. Zhu Yao instantly knows who wrote it, and her hands itched to spank a certain little kid whose surname was Wang right on his backside. When did her name go from hey to wife to ugly wife? When she reads it closely again, she finds something tiny added in the corner. Thank you for back then. She sighs deeply. Was he thanking her for consoling him? Zhu Yao shakes her head. This awkward, spoiled brat has a really strange way of saying thanks. If 3 months weren't enough to prove someone was talentless, then 5 years certainly were. For 5 years, no matter how diligently Zhu Yao tried to sense spiritual energy, she couldn't feel a hint of it. She perfectly embodied the word loser. Even she began to suspect it was due to a problem with her world-crossing method. Why was this happening to her? Could her two-world constitution prevent her from cultivating? But this world's mystic arts and medicine worked perfectly on her. Standing on the mountain peak, Zhu Yao looks at the endless clouds and silently grieves. From little Wang's letters, which are now neatly and properly written, she's learned that a year ago, Wang Heji had already cultivated to the 10th level of essence, the fastest speed among all the disciples. Reverend Zemo even took him personally in as his succeeding disciple. Zhu Yao is happy for him, but for herself, all she feels is a gigantic sense of powerlessness crushing her. What's the meaning behind her coming into this world? It's an emergency. Someone please tell me. Quack, quack. Your master is telling you to come back home for dinner. Your master is telling you to come back home for dinner. The cries of a crane interrupt her self-pity. Zhu Yao looks up at the celestial crane, whose voice sounds exactly like a duck. When she received Wang Heji's paper crane 5 years ago, just for fun, she asked her master about it. He misunderstood, thinking she liked this method of sending letters. So a certain master immediately tried to emulate it, but felt a paper crane was too low class for his elegant, cold image. Thus, he used an actual crane. Quack, quack, your master is telling you to come back home for dinner. Quack, are you a celestial crane or a duck? Zhu Yao rolls her eyes at the crane, which only repeats one sentence. She turns and quickly walks back. If she doesn't, that stupid crane is just going to keep quacking. Placing a pleat of his hands, Yu Yan watches his disciple lightly jogging back from afar and sits down satisfied. After Zhu Yao greets him, he observes her stuffing big mouthfuls of food into her mouth before speaking indifferently. I will be leaving the mountain for a period of time tomorrow. Zhu Yao is startled, looking straight at him. This 10,000-year hikikomori is actually going to leave his house? Master, where will you be going? In a few days, it will be the Intersect tournament that occurs once every 100 years. Every single sect and clan in the world will be gathering at the Ancient Hill Sect. The Intersect tournament is the most important event in the cultivation world, and the Ancient Hill Sect, as the #1 sect, always hosts it. Is Master going to participate in the tournament as well? Zhu Yao is excited. After so many years, she's seen him cook and sew, but never fight. Who are you going to fight with? Can Master beat him? Yu Yan's brows furrow. He can't resist knocking his stupid disciple on the head. Many and various people from all over the world will be coming. To prevent devils and monsters from taking the opportunity to mix into the crowd, I have to reinforce the Great Mountain Barrier Formation. He thinks, My stupid disciple doesn't even realize that practitioners above the nascent soul level have powers capable of moving mountains and splitting seas, and they wouldn't easily battle one another, let alone me. Oh, so he's only going to reinforce a formation. Zhu Yao thought she'd see him in action. Then who are the participants in the tournament? Every sect will choose 3 representatives, each for Essence, Foundation, and Azad, and every one of them will fight for the top 3 positions. Zhu Yao's eyes gleam. Forgetting her food, she pulls a chair closest to her master and sits on it. Master, will it be really lively on that day? May I? No. Before Zhu Yao can even finish, Yu Yan cuts her off, delivering another blow. Unless you build your foundation. Master! Zhu Yao drags out the last syllable, looking pitifully at him. Breaking through to foundation is an impossible fantasy for her. She's been confined for 5 years without any progress. Yu Yan continues to ignore her. Zhu Yao feels even more depressed. Master, you're heartless, shameless, and vexatious. The person in front of her just keeps clearing the plates and chopsticks, heading into the kitchen to wash them without even looking back. Zhu Yao lays on the table in defeat, looking at the empty table. Wait a minute. Master, I'm not done eating!
Zhu Yao reflecting on her master's stubbornness. When he decides something, he never changes his mind. For example, forbidding her from leaving the mountain 5 years ago meant she was seriously confined for a whole 5 years. No matter how she made a scene, looked pitiful, threw tantrums, or even tried to reason with him, he wouldn't budge. And he seemed to have done something behind her back, because over these 5 years, fewer and fewer disciples visited Jade Forest Mountain. Even urgent matters were sent via paper cranes. And even that little bastard, Wang Shuzi, seemed to have forgotten her, the only person who came with him from their hometown. In these 5 years, other than occasional paper cranes with short messages, he never came up the mountain to see her. This little kid doesn't have any conscience at all. Next time I see him, I will definitely spank him fiercely on the buttocks. Depressed, Zhu Yao gazes at the moon and sighs. Only her breathing breaks the quiet. Among the few dumb birds that call her for meals, one is particularly fat and flying as if drunk. It seems to have crashed into something in the sky. "Iya?" Zhu Yao exclaims. "It's falling." She instantly stands up, opens the door, and runs to where the celestial crane fell. That thing it crashed into earlier was a human figure, wasn't it? A celestial crane bumped into a person? Zhu Yao, who hasn't seen an outsider forever, sprints, wondering which unfortunate soul would crash into a bird while flying on his sword. After running to the mountainside, Zhu Yao finally spots the unfortunate person. He's wearing the sect's white uniform, clutching his head with both hands, rolling left and right. Beside him, a celestial crane as tall as an adult human is extending its head, pecking on his body. "Ow! Stop, stop, stop! Stop pecking! Stop pecking! Peck again and I will hit you!" The youth seems to have sprained his foot and is protecting his head like his life depends on it. "Dumb bird, stop!" The moment Zhu Yao calls out, that aggressive celestial crane immediately spreads its wings and flies towards her, crying out haughtily. It flaps its wings at Zhu Yao as if boasting that it caught an intruder. Zhu Yao strokes his neck, appeasing it, then looks at the youth on the floor. A celestial crane is a first-stage spirit beast. Even an essence stage disciple could deal with it, yet this person simply dodged and didn't retaliate, showing he holds no ill intentions towards Jade Forest Mountain. "Wife," the person blurts out, walking towards her with an excited expression. With that address, Zhu Yao instantly recognized him. If it's not Wang Shuzi, who else could it be? With a joyful look, Wang Shuzi tries to pull her hand, but the celestial crane beside her cries out, blocking him, its long beak once again trying to peck him. "Enough, dumb bird," Zhu Yao says, patting the crane. "I know him. There's nothing for you to do here. Go and play somewhere else." The celestial crane looks at her, then back at the youth, before flapping its wings and flying away. Little wimp? If he hadn't called her wife, she wouldn't have believed this handsome youth was that spoiled brat. Wang Shuzi scratches his head embarrassingly, complaining,
I already told you many times I have a name and it's called Wang Shuzi. Zhu Yao laughs, sizing him up. All right, little wimp has grown up and you have even grown into such a handsome young man. In just 5 years, the child who was only chest high is now taller than her by a head. His round bun-like face is now sharper, as if cut by a sword. The Shota from back then has become a handsome man. Wang Shuzi's face flushes red from her praises. As if recalling something, he clears his throat, then bows respectfully. Greetings to Grand Marshal Aunt. Good boy. Zhu Yao habitually reaches out to stroke his head, but realizes it's tiring now that he's so tall and pulls her hand back. You little twerp, you haven't shown up for 5 years, so why did you suddenly have the thought of visiting me today? I wanted to look for you as well, but because ancestral martial uncles set up a formation on Jade Forest Mountain 5 years ago, and without his approval, not a single person was allowed to enter. This time I was simply circling around the area, but I did not expect that I would actually manage to enter. So it was a barrier. No wonder the number of disciples visiting Jade Forest Mountain in the last 5 years was just a handful, all sent to see my master under Sect Master's orders. Master was clearly trying to isolate me, wasn't he? Zhu Yao grits her teeth, feeling like she needs to have a serious talk with that master about life. Grand Marshal Aunt, have you been well these last few years? Wang Shuzi tries to ask. For years, he'd circled Jade Forest Mountain on his flying sword, hoping to get in, but never succeeded until now. I think it's best if you call me Big Sister instead. Zhu Yao pulls him to a large rock and has him sit. Even though she's older, she feels her youth slipping away if people keep calling her Grand Marshal Aunt or Ancestral Marshal Aunt. She brought him here. Big Sister isn't an exaggeration. Wang Shuzi smiles, obediently calling out, Big Sister Zhu Yao. Good boy. Zhu Yao can't help but stroke his head again, further messing up his hair, already disheveled by the crane's pecking. Tell Big Sister, how's your cultivation coming along? Have you been well? Is there anyone bullying you? If there's someone bullying you, tell me, and I will deal with him. He shakes his head, obediently replying, Master and my senior martial brothers treat me really well, and I have small success in my cultivation as well. Currently, I'm already an Essence Paragon. Not bad, kid, Zhu Yao exclaims. In his last letter, he was at the 10th level of Essence. In just a few months, he's become a Paragon. His next step is Foundation. Wang Shuzi's face reddens, even more embarrassed. Zhu Yao is mystified. In just 5 years, that spoiled brat became so shy. When are you planning to build your foundation? Zhu Yao asks. Every elevation to a new realm carries great risk. Success means soaring, but failure can mean a fall in cultivation or even spirit vine impairment. The higher the level, the harder it is. Wang Shuzi's expression sinks. I plan to wait a few years and only consider it after I stabilize myself in the current realm. Zhu Yao nods. This is the right choice. The success rate for breaking through from Essence to Foundation is high, but still, many fail. Then she recalls something and asks, Are you planning to use a foundation pellet? Men. Wang Shuzi nods. My master had already prepared a foundation pellet for me 2 years ago. However, I wish to use my own abilities to obtain it. Hence, in the Introsect Great Tournament the day after tomorrow, I will be participating in the Essence group and will obtain the foundation pellet if I earn a place in the top 3. After hearing this, Zhu Yao's brows furrow tightly. Big Sister Zhu Yao, what is it? Am I not allowed to do that? Wang Shuzi thinks she's worried about his safety and explains, You don't have to worry. On the surface, the Intersect tournament is only conducted to select participants to represent our sect in the Intersect tournament. And with my cultivation level, I'm pretty confident in getting to the top 10 at least. Oh, little Wang, still so confident and adorable, but Zhu Yao's expression just darkened. Why? What's going on with this Intersect tournament? And why does the idea of little Wang participating make Zhu Yao so worried? And what about this barrier Master Yuan put up? Will Zhu Yao ever be able to leave her mountain? You'll have to tune in next time to find out. Thank you so much for joining me on Let's Read. Don't forget to subscribe and like this podcast if you enjoyed it. Your support means the world to me. Until next time, keep reading, keep listening, and keep adventuring. Bye for now.